everyone, coming to you live from Austin, Texas. I am speaking at the Austin Television Festival over the weekend. This weekend, really fun TV festival if you like television, if you're a TV fan, if you make TV, if you do TV. And they were kind enough to ask me to talk a little bit about late night and the strike, so I'm going to be doing that this weekend. And I believe a lot of it is also available online, either now or after the fact. Anyway, here in Austin, I love the American Southwest. I'm from the American Southwest. I consider Austin, or at least Texas, the edge of the American Southwest. So happy to be back where it's hot and you can see dirt. But we are here for halftime of Game 5 of the Western Conference Finals. This is a halftime show, so we have 15 minutes. We're gonna start the clock. Start the clock is my version of lock the gates for Mark Maron, the inventor of podcasting. Anyway, glad everyone is here watching the show. Rough game. Hello, Will's Pod. Thank you for watching. Solid fan as always. Really, really rough game. 69-40 at the end of halftime. And if you want the breakdowns, 35-19 first quarter, 34-21 second quarter. The Mavs are coming into Minnesota and basically stepping on the necks of the Timberwolves. Whatever energy they used, it seemed like it was just to avoid getting swept. I think Stan Van Gundy said that out loud, that they played to not get swept. They achieved that, and because of that, that was all they could do. Obviously, there's, as I bring up these stats, obviously there's a lot to talk about that are in terms of problems here, but not the problems that I think we're running into for the Timberwolves are not that their stars aren't scoring at all. Obviously, Cat has 12 points, and Anthony Edwards has 12 points, and they're kind of scoring. Look, you've made, 2 3-pointers out of 12 and a half. Seems bad. Especially seems bad when Luka has made 5 by himself. So Luka has 5 3-pointers. The Wolves have 2 3-pointers. So, I think the fact that you can always use stats to make a game come down to whatever factors you want. You can always take a set of stats and say this is the determinative thing. So I'm not going to say this is determinative, but it does hold up that whoever's lead duo scored more points won the game. If in that case, Anthony Edwards and Cat have 24 points in the first half. Luka and Kyrie Irving have 44 points in the first half. 44 points is more points than the whole Timberwolves team. Kyrie and Luka are outscoring the Wolves by themselves, and then a bunch of other guys are also playing for the Mavericks. So for the Mavericks have clearly come out fired up. The Wolves have played like they did 3 games of this series and several games of other series, and I don't know that anyone thinks they're going to turn it around. That would be a crazy, miraculous thing. Look, Derek Lively's playing with a concussion. They want to win. But the bigger thing in my mind that's going to be interesting about this game that I think we have to ask ourselves, and we'll see, is how do the stars of the Timberwolves act after this? Because there's been a lot of talk and a lot of, we have them figured out. We know how we can beat them. We just have to play our best game. Blah, 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 blah. Was avoiding the sweep just a way to give themselves some dignity in the loss and say, hey, if it bounced a couple of different ways our way, we would have won this game? I don't know. But the Wolves haven't seemed concerned about their play up until this point. And so now facing this loss in which they had no real answer for Kyrie and Luka, but not only that, where they, who have 2 7-footers who play together, were getting dominated by Derek Lively, who is a rookie. That's a weird situation for them to be in that really asks some questions about how the team is built and how the team plays. If you ask me, who is I assume I'm a biased observer because I like the Suns, it's that a lot of these guys have the same problems a lot of Suns players have. I call the Wolves the cold Suns for a reason. They are having fun, even when they're losing. And that's great if you want a healthy work life balance. It's not great if you want to win. If you win, you got to be like Ant. And if you're Ant, you also need to show up every game. You can't be playing like this. So, uh, looks like we're going to get a Dallas Boston finals, which I'm sure Adam Silver thinks is great because I believe that's two top five TV rating markets. And either Luka will be a champion or Jason Tatum will be a champion, or Jaylen Brown will be a champion, or Derek Lively will be a champion, or Porzingis will be a champion. So we're gonna. It's interesting to see those narratives for the finals. We can reset, and we will have new shows, new guests. Already working on that. Even new segments, debuting new segments. Maybe inspired by one horrible television host, Bill Maher, for the finals. But that's to say for the finals. Let's talk about now. If you're the Wolves and you lose this game, not just what do you tell, I don't know what they tell themselves. I think it's something really positive, but what do you say to your fans and to the press and to those people? And I think you just say that um, that there were elements of the game that you couldn't control. Defense wasn't strong enough, even though you were a great defensive team, and come right back. I think everyone knows, and I think Pascal Siakam has talked about that this window is not open forever. And so Minnesota does need to figure this out now. And they're in the middle of a weird ownership fight where if A-Rod takes over the team, he's going to cut the salaries a lot, which means he wanted to trade Mike Conley, which I hope A-Rod sitting next to those games in a suit understands that Mike Conley is not the problem, and you have to keep him. You have to keep him. You can lose other people, but you have to keep Mike Conley. Thank you to everyone who's watching. By the way, if you comment, I will attempt to respond. I'm not a StreamYard expert, but it does seem that the comments pop up if you comment, at least on Twitch. I also believe on Twitter. Oh, there's a comment right there. It's Cat. Yes. I mean, Karl Anthony Towns doesn't play well in the playoffs. He is, to me, an incredibly frustrating player because he seemingly has great talent. He then plays horribly, and he is, of all the people involved in his own career, the least concerned about that he plays poorly. I mean, this is a guy who 2 games ago or whatever said, I put up 1,500 shots a game, and every NBA player who played before said, that's not possible. You put up 1,500 shots a game during playoff practice. You're lying. So, I mean, he's got real problems because Anthony Edwards has more of a window before people turn on him. Rudy Gobert, I've asked this before, he might be a masochist. He may be doing this because he enjoys the embarrassment of losing in the playoffs. That would be totally nuts, I know, but it's not the least logical explanation that Rudy Gobert gets some kind of joy out of building expectations as high as possible and then letting you down and getting made fun of, that he likes that. We don't know. I don't know him. I know he thinks COVID is a joke and he touched a bunch of mics. I know he got choked out by Draymond Green. That's all I know. Anyway, that's a lot of serious basketball talk. Let's keep going. Our referee tonight is Mark Davis. We have actually talked about Mark Davis already. He is a dude from Chicago whose favorite app is a VPN. And he was in the Navy, I believe. So our ref tonight is John Goble from Miami. We may have talked about John Goble before. I'm not sure. What I want to talk about with John Goble is that he is the most... I don't know his race. If he is all white, he is definitely down with people of color. Favorite musician, enjoys hip-hop, salsa, and reggaeton. Favorite meal, skirt steak, black beans, and rice and fried plantains. You know how down you got to be a white person that eats plantains? Dude, John Goble is Miami. He's very Miami. Should he referee Miami games? Is he biased? I don't know. Yeah. Defensive Player of the Year is an award. Good point from Big Nick Energy. Defensive Player of the Year should have a big asterisk next to it that says, in the regular season. I don't know. I do think that we should do a kind of tribunal a basketball tribunal where we bring out all the voters for Defensive Player of the Year and we make them sit down now in front of us and say, like, why did you do that? Why did you vote like that? You knew this was going to happen. Why did you do that, Tim? The 3 years he's been DPOY, he's had horrible playoffs. Don't do that to Rudy. Just leave Rudy alone. Uh, a couple other weird things about John Goble. His brother is an NBA staff official. Now, you may be asking yourself, what is an NBA staff official? I'm asking myself that too. I don't know. But his brother's an official too. His hidden talent is that he's a Cuban coffee barista. So he is definitely down with the culture. I'm not sure which culture, but one of them. His favorite movie is The Godfather. I would have thought his favorite movie would be Scarface. John Goble, baby. He is one day. I mean, he's been reffing for 17 years, but one of these days, John Goble is going to be the official old ref in charge. And just wait till we get to the finals, guys, because once we get to these third refs on the chart, these are people who've been reffing the shortest amount of time. You've never heard of them because they don't get to be on camera. They don't get to do reviews. They don't get to be famous. They just wait there. And if no one else blows the foul that they saw, then they blow the foul and they go foul. And that's pretty much their job. So, yeah, we in the course of these conference finals, we the halftime show have gone through all the refs you've heard of, and we've fully moved on to refs you don't even recognize their faces because they're really far away. We don't do basketball 4K anymore. You know how it is. But with that, I think that we're going to have a little bit of a gap before our next show because the next show starts when the finals start. That's June 6th, because I assume in honor of D-Day or something, we're going to storm the beaches of the finals. So between now and June 6th, we won't have anything. I will kind of post on Twitter about basketball, and I will give some previews as we lock down guests for our episodes so that you can start to get hyped for some of our guests because I think we have some really fun, cool people, some really cool comedians coming on to talk about basketball. And I think you just got to prepare yourself for that weird lag period, right? June 6th, it's a week away. So you have a week of no basketball, some hype. We're going to develop the narratives of what's going to happen. Is Jason Tatum going to become a guy who's got a ring? Is it Luka? How are the backcourt of Luka and them who has the better backcourt? How's Porzingis coming back going to affect everything? Is he healthy? Him against Derek Lively, they both were injured. Blah, blah. There's going to be a lot of stuff to talk about. But the other thing to talk about is two very Caucasian cities fighting each other. Two different kinds of white American cities. And I'm not saying white in a bad way. I'm not saying it derisively. I'm saying, Dallas, it's got some diversity, but pretty white city. Boston, some former players there, athletes there, said it's the most racist city in America. I didn't say that, but guys who played baseball there did. But two very different kinds of fan bases. But both fan bases that you feel like are going to be pretty hyped. I mean, Dallas now, even if you weren't checked in before as a Dallas fan, you're in the finals. I think they check in, right? Last time was with Dirk. It's been a while. And then Boston, obviously, they just love championships. They get championships all the time. They'll show up. They'll be really big. I hope that Boston gets a shirt and they all wear the shirt for game one. I feel like you guys can do the least and put a shirt on. Let's all put matching shirts on for the game. But it'll be great. We'll get parquet. We'll get some alumni of both teams. We'll probably see an interview with Dirk, interview with some Celtics. Kevin Garnett's got to be ready to go. Also, if any of you know of any players that played on the Celtics and the Mavericks. Wait, is there someone playing in this finals who played on the Celtics and the Mavericks? Wait, that's crazy. That's got to be the storyline, right? Yes. Kyrie Irving stomping on the lucky symbol on the court was in Boston. Everyone hated him. He left. He made no friends. He left a bunch of enemies. It went poorly. Now he's in Dallas. They love him. They don't care what he thinks. And he's coming back to Boston. He's going to try to sage the court. Oh, my gosh. That is my prediction for the number one storyline of the finals as we go. Prediction for the second half. We have almost no time left. It's about to start. Prediction for the second half. Here's my prediction. The Wolves are going to lose. That's the prediction. I mean, Anthony Edwards, if you ever thought you should shoot 30 times and a half, this is the half to try it. Just realize you're the only person with the kind of internal fortitude to bring this game back. Do not pass. Only shoot. And pray that you can outscore two other guys who are really good at shooting. We'll see. Luke is going to celebrate in a way that absolutely nauseates me, but he has earned because he's going to the finals. Congrats, Dallas. And see you for finals game one.